There are over 3,000 cultures in the world. Some continue to thrive while others slowly die. When a culture dies, the traditions aren't the only things that disappear, but also the history, the identity, and the connection it once had. The language can be forgotten, the holidays and traditions can become optional, and the generation can grow apart. The loss is already happening to many in this generation, and some of them could have been preventable. I was born to immigrant parents and raised up being taught about my heritage and culture. I was lucky enough to grow up like this, since my parents wanted me and my siblings to know about our roots and our background, and to see where we came from. However, as I grew up, I noticed that many other kids around my age that shared the same culture, the same Hispanic background, that they didn't seem to have the same knowledge as I did. For example, the language, references, or simply just traditions. Today, many people, whether immigrants or not, seem to lose their touch with their heritage, and it seems to affect their identity and connections with others. I will go into detail on the problem of cultural disconnection among younger generations and show some solutions on how to prevent it from happening. First, the problem. The problem of cultural disconnection among younger generations of immigrants is growing more and more as the years pass by. The lack of native language is one of these signs. An example of language loss can be seen here. According to Pew Research Center, about 75% of U.S. Latinos are able to carry on conversations in Spanish pretty well or very well. However, this problem goes far beyond just Spanish speakers. It is common to see many families from different ethnicities living in America and in their Gen Z children to only be able to understand their household's language and not be able to speak it fluently. This can be seen from many other American families, from Asians, Hispanics, Natives, African, and more. Some Native American communities are an example of this language loss. Some tribes are trying to revive some of the nearly extinct languages in their communities. It can create distance between kids and their elders, making it more difficult to pass down traditions, values, stories, and more. An example of this is Belinda Kai, a Chinese American woman born to an immigrant family. Shared her experiences with how her cultural identity, had a negative effect on her. She got bullied, which led to her feeling ashamed of who she was, and into accepting a more American identity, which affected her in the future. This led to the loss of her fluent native language and the feeling of not being enough to be a part of her own community. This is one example of a woman who chose to share her story. While many seem to think it's a choice of laziness or uninterest, there is a reason why people tend to accept the more normalized identity that is shown here in America. Disconnection leads to confusion in one's culture and shame for it. Some kids may grow up feeling that they're too American for their own community and too foreign for American spaces. This could lead to the feeling of not belonging anywhere. Many are called whitewashed and other titles for not knowing their roots. It's important to know that not everyone is given the opportunity to know about their culture and background. The shame of not being too different from different areas may cause individuals to not share or be proud of their roots. They may not feel worthy of being proud of their roots with the lack of knowledge. Like the example earlier, there will be shame at some point, whether it's for being yourself or for not being yourself. Know who you are and why you are that way. To know your roots is a privilege at some point. Now, some solutions. Reconnecting with your cultural roots is possible and necessary. There are free and paid apps like Duolingo and Babbel that offer courses all around the globe to learn about languages and more. Technology has improved so much that we have a solution for almost everything thanks to the use of our phones. Social media apps like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and many more have content for every audience. You can find creators that can help you learn about your culture. Don't fully rely on influencers, but as a variety of sources and examples to learn from. Don't just rely on your phone, especially when you have real life connections to people who know about your roots. Create bonds with them in your own way, or in any way that is possible to you. You can ask about family members to translate for you or to tell information. Everyone has the ability to use their phones every day, so taking a little time off from your scrolling can connect again with your roots isn't impossible. For example, I'm not the best at Spanish even after growing up learning it. I chose to learn more about it in school and even chose to download Duolingo, which helped me learn a bit more and get more used to it, especially when watching shows with Spanish audio and Spanish subtitles. It is important to reclaim cultural practices into your life. Try to cook some traditional meals from your culture. Ask relatives to search up recipes. It doesn't have to be perfect, so make them to the best of your abilities. Celebrate cultural holidays with the intention of experiencing, bonding, and learning, not for the aesthetics. In the end, the problem with present and future generations losing their touch of culture is a serious problem, but it can be prevented if you choose to. I give examples and reasons why it is important and necessary to have some knowledge about your roots. Even if it's not the best knowledge, it is acknowledging something that is important to others. Culture isn't something that you have or not, but something you can choose to live in. Learn sayings, learn dishes, learn traditions, and ask family questions. Whether it's simple or difficult steps, you can reconnect with the steps. Others may have opinions on the way you live your life, but in the end, having some knowledge about your background isn't something to be ashamed of. It is something to share and pass on.